Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of the Cartridge and Disc Podcast. Let's talk about the Switch 2. That's right, it's confirmed. It's official. We get right to the story here. I don't tell you to take a break or hold on. No, we get right to it, so let's go. Guys, one of the ramifications of this whole debacle with Microsoft and Sony was that they had to disclose a bunch of stuff, right? When you go to court, you have to submit documents. You're going to get documents requested. You have to answer questions. And what came out of all of this, right, is that Microsoft is planning for a release of the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2024, basically, right? Some people say third quarter, some people say early. It doesn't matter. The thing is, it's going to be next year. And because of this, companies are going to be a lot more careful from now on with this whole getting sued stuff, right? Nobody wants to go through depositions, giving out company secrets, because believe you me, Nintendo is pissed about this. Pissed. If you're running a business and somebody's out there talking about your business and your business strategy, it's never a good thing. Microsoft didn't have a choice because they had to answer the questions, but the big culprit here is Sony, trying to fuel the fire for these failed hearings in order to stop the Activision acquisition. But what does that mean? What does that mean for everybody? Well, Microsoft had to know because they're developing games for the Switch 2. Does that mean they have dev kits or what have you? You know what? It really doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter for the purposes of business because now you've disclosed to your competition when you're coming out. Now, let me say this. It doesn't matter when it comes out. This thing is going to blow out. Nintendo is in the perfect position to keep on dominating. They really are. It doesn't matter what Microsoft does. It doesn't matter what Sony does. The only thing that Nintendo has to worry about is having enough consoles for the second release. Because what I suspect, and it's what many suspected, on the first release they hold back units in order to make them scarce, in order to create a buzz. But I think at this point, it wouldn't really matter, guys. I think if they sold, if they ran a production line of 1 million or 2, they would sell them out day one. No question about it. It would be in the millions and millions of units that they could sell on day one. And the thing is that the Switch is doing well. The Switch is outselling sometimes a PS5 right now. The Switch is constantly selling, outperforming the Xbox Series X. So the negative thing here for Nintendo is that, somebody showed their hand already when they wouldn't have to. They could have delayed this and not announced anything or not let the rumor mill spill for another year. The more you're able to delay production on your next console, the better it is, right? Because you save money, you can buy some parts ahead. There's a bunch of things that you can do with time that you can't do when you're under the gun. And this basically eliminated that flexibility from Nintendo, even though these companies, ahead of time, they already know what they're going to do, right? Sometimes things happen in the market, they have to make some changes, A, B, or C. But I think at this point, the biggest challenge for Nintendo is having that software to release and having a unit, a system that can run some of these next generation games. Now, from what we know, from the educated guesses that everybody in this area said, it's going to be similar to a PS4, an Xbox One handheld. What is it going to have? What isn't it going to have? I mean, it should have by this point Metroid Prime, right? That should be part of the package, absolutely. And of course, some of their standards. What does that mean for the stock? I mean, the stock isn't doing great. It's not gangbusters. It doesn't reflect, you have to know this, guys, the stock doesn't reflect what the prices of retail are. It doesn't reflect how well the sales are doing right now. Stock is always looking forward. Stock is always trying to predict the future. And whenever you make that much money, of course, you have to redeploy it in some other, in some other way. You just don't take in cash and sit on it. Usually, there's a lot of it that you have to reinvest into the business, and calculations go into this, so on and so forth. Now, this is not financial advice in any way. I mean, I feel good about the stock that I own in Nintendo. As you guys know, I hold pretty much every video game stock that I can get a hold of in the American market. I just believe that it's going to be an area of growth for many years to come. That's just my personal belief. And, that's how I invest, basically. And that's what I see in the future. But not everybody sees it that way. Because I'm a long-term investor, I don't care. Short-term investors might have a different opinion than I am because their goals are completely different. Yours might be completely different. But Nintendo has to come up with a strategy now that accounts for these leaks, accounts for the sales that they're making now. And now the challenge that they have is, how are they going to convince the public this coming holiday season to buy more Switches when they know that the following year, most likely the Switch 2 is coming out? That's one of the biggest drawbacks of this whole thing. That's the biggest problem for them this Christmas. They're going to have to be putting out some great deals. I see a lot of sales coming. I see a lot of package deals coming. I see that some games are not going to be compatible with the previous generation. Do I see it being completely physical media free? No, I think there's still going to be physical media because it's part of Nintendo's brand. But are they going to have Switch 2 exclusives? Yes, I think so, absolutely. I think it has to be part of their strategy for people to upgrade, to buy the new console, to want to have the new console. As far as what my wishes are, I wish that the console could be a standalone console also, in addition to being a handheld, sort of like a Super Wii U, if you will. That would be my choice, right? I love games that are dual screen. If you have a screen on the portable and a screen on the television functioning, that would be amazing. It really, really would. Because in my opinion, not a very popular one, by the way, I like the Wii U better than I like the Switch in general for a lot of reasons. And that could be just a whole separate video. But guys, Nintendo's hand has been shown here. They have to pivot because of that. And their biggest challenge right now is trying to convince you of buying more Switches this Christmas before the next version comes out. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for your likes, subscriptions. Make sure and hit that like button. It really does help. If you want to get a lot of notifications, notifications with a bunch of memes, go and hit that bell too. I try to share those whenever I see them, and I try to pass that info on to you. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will catch you on the next one. I have to go make some bottles. The baby's going to get hungry. Take care.